Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So this morning, I woke up and I saw a couple of concerning articles. So, is Bitcoin concerning right now? Is the downward trend concerning? Let's talk about these things and everything else that's going on this morning. Let's do it. Welcome, guys. Good morning. The market bell has rung in the U.S. I don't know why I started with that article. I meant to start with this article. Looking at the U.S., we had jobless claims come out today, and it is no good. We had more people that are out of jobs this last week than the week before, and more people out of job than anticipated. So, is this a good thing? Obviously not. Okay, when you have more and more people without jobs, it's not a good thing. But it can be a good thing for Wall Street because this is basically signaling to Powell that, hey, you better start cutting those rates soon or the economy is really going to go downwards in a spiral and we may be having recession, right? So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the market reacts today. So far, NASDAQ up, Dow down, kind of a mixed day. So we're kind of in that weird situation. We're in inverse world right now where bad economic data could actually help Wall Street and good economic data can actually dampen Wall Street. So we will see. But I also had this article up. Bank of England did not do anything with its rates. Basically, they're just copying what the U.S. does, okay? They're waiting for the U.S. to make a cut, and then they're going to make a cut, and then ECB will probably follow. Basically, Europe is following Powell, right? Powell, basically, whatever he decides is going to have a lot of ramifications around the world, not just the U.S. So we're starting out with that. But overall, guys, I've been saying this, and why you guys may be thinking, well, why are you talking about this, right? And what does that have to do with anything in relation to Bitcoin? Because all of this has to do with Bitcoin. All the economic policies have not been so good in terms of preserving your wealth. And we have this kind of like on and off thing, right? Where we have either the money printer being turned on or turned off, and then we have whether the rates are going to be increased or decreased. It's all basically trying to manipulate the market. It's trying to either curb inflation or try to decrease inflation. But all of this, it's all like convoluted and it's all shenanigans. And the more you learn about it, the more you just like give up and just throw your hands in the air. It's like, you know what? I just want to opt out of everything, okay? I don't get what any of this means, but what I want to know is how do I preserve my wealth and how do I make more money, right? Ultimately, that's what we all want to know. But yeah, currencies around the world not doing so well. The Japanese yen is decreasing against the USDC. This is the only reason why the U.S. government can do what they do, all the shenanigans that they're doing with rate cuts and rate hikes, and also with the quantitative easing and quantitative tightening, all these things. The only reason why they're able to do it is because the dollar right now is stronger than other currencies, right? Including the euro, including the sterling, including everything else against the dollar. They are just weaker. So we in the U.S. have this advantage. That's why our government does not care about more printing or more borrowing because we think other countries will want it forever. But that's just not the case. Eventually that gravy train is going to stop, right? Anyways, I went off on a tangent there. But how does the yen weakening how does that go help Bitcoin? Well, some people are arguing it will. People don't know this, but Japan is the largest nation. Well, no, it's the nation that holds the most U.S. bonds, right? So we actually owe Japan the most money. And if they're having problems with their currency, it makes reason to think that they may have to sell off some of those bonds that they hold, right? Which means there will be a lot of liquidity, which means a lot of that liquidity can go into what's the best hedge against inflation and the best store of value that we have, and that's Bitcoin. So some people are arguing that a weakened yen or weakened dollar, weakened euro, whatever it is, okay, is going to help Bitcoin in the long run. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, right? So, yeah, we'll start out the day with all that. A lot of shenanigans, of course. Now, as for these concerning articles that I found, right? Let's talk about a couple of them. Well, here's one. Bitcoin 61K. Are investors losing interest? This is a worrying sign. Like what signs? For example, this from this person that shows that accumulation in the past 30 days have shrunk quite a lot versus times before, right? Just like this one that I saw, this actually shows the accumulation chart, and in fact, red is not good, blue is good, and you could see before, just a month before in March, accumulation all around from all different addresses, okay? And now it's all red. Like within 1 month, it all turned red, right? So if you look at these by itself, you're like, this is no good. What happened to all the buyers? What happened to all the long-term holders and the institutions and whales? Where did they all go, right? Is this a worrying trend? Is this a trend that's going to carry Bitcoin for the remainder of this year? And here's something else that makes it sound even worse. Look at this. Crypto monthly trading volume drops the first time in 7 months. So we had 7 consecutive great months, okay, all the way from September of 2023. And then you can see October we went up, November, December, January, February, March, a big volume spike in March. And then we went down, right? So again, you put all this together, you're like, okay, now we have concerning data, right? Everything is showing that things are going down. This is no good. And here's how I'm going to counter all of this. Okay, all this data that you're seeing right now, it's just measuring basically 1 month. Last month, April, and now we're in May, right? So, of course, April, this is showing April volume going down. Okay, this is showing accumulation score in April, not good. This is also showing how Bitcoin accumulation lasts 30 days, no good. This is all based on 1 month data. And why is that important? Well, because I showed you guys this before. We had 7 consecutive green months from September all the way to March. So when you look at this and you put things in perspective, of course, we're going to have a bad month. You can't have an asset go up forever and never have any downtrends. And I've showed this before, I'm going to show again. It's really relevant because all these articles and people that are trying to scare you and saying this is concerning, well, they're not taking into account that we had 7 straight months of green, of positive gains. So, of course, there will be a down month. And we may have 2 down months. We may have 3. But never in Bitcoin's history, count all the months out here since this started tracking in 2013. We never had a run where we had 7 consecutive green months. We made a record this past year. From September to March, we went on a ferocious climb. 7 straight months. We've never done that before. So to have 1 down month in April is perfectly okay. And even if this month turns out to be red, and let's say June turns out to be red, even if we had 3 straight red months, That would be perfectly normal. Look at some of these previous years that we had. We had plenty of periods where we had 3 months, 4 months, 5 months of red. And that doesn't mean anything, really. Doesn't mean that the bull run is over. Look at 2021. Case in point, 2021 was the most bullish year in the last cycle, right? And even during that most bullish cycle, you still had 3 consecutive reds. Look at April, May, and June in 2021. 3 consecutive red months, right? But would anyone argue how great 2021 was for Bitcoin and alts? So, here's the thing. You got to look at the whole picture. That's kind of my point, okay? So all the concerning data, all the FUD that's out there that's trying to pinpoint and nitpick short term, yeah, they have a point, right? Yeah, April wasn't good. But what about the 7 months before that were absolutely fantastic? The 7 months before brought Bitcoin from a $20,000 level to now a $60,000 level. No, $70,000 level before we came back to 60s, right? So that is the important thing to remember. So don't be discouraged. Know that, again, this is normal, even though right now I know we're kind of going down a little bit. But all this concerning trend, it makes sense because Bitcoin can't go up forever. It does need to take a breather, and this is perfectly normal in every single cycle, right? And when you zoom out, you'll realize the same thing, especially on a grander scale like this on a chart. You'll realize that, hey, many times, in fact, every single time that we have a halving event, we do actually dip down before we start going upwards, right? And we got 500 days. Oof, 500 days. Yeah, I don't know about that. We don't have 500 days of up. But if you do notice after the dotted lines that it's hard to see, but we do have a dip every single time. And it's the same thing this time. So it's really no different than before, okay? And I know it sucks when things are going down. No one wants to see that. Everyone wants to see their portfolio go up every single day, right? But that's not how it works. Not how it works at all. But again, when you zoom out, you realize that, hey, we are still moving according to plan. Nothing has really changed. And if you're looking at these colored dots from plan B and looking at a 200 weekly moving average, which we actually just broke its all-time high for Bitcoin, which is, again, very positive. We broke the 200 weekly moving average. It's even higher now than peak of 2021. We are doing just fine, and we are trending upwards. However, even you can see with these dots, they don't just go up forever. There are dips. There are times where it does go down. But when you zoom out, you really can't see them. But we're going through one of those times right now because we had 7 consecutive green months, and it's time for Bitcoin to take a breather. That's quite simply it. It's just that simple, right? And it's the same thing with alts. With altcoins, altcoins, some are getting weaker. Some are holding relatively strong, even with Bitcoin's dip, right? And many people are still wondering, are alts going to come back? Are they ever going to recover? Are we going to have altcoin season? And the answer is yes. And a lot of people are charting altcoins at Altcoin Dominance. And you know what? There are similarities. However, Bitcoin's going to lead the way. If Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down. That's just usually how it works. But alts are much stronger this cycle versus previous cycles. There's no doubt about it. This time around in 2020, after the last halving event, alts were still like 10 times lower than where they are now. Okay, if you go look at where, let's say, Ethereum was back then, you would laugh. It would be in the hundreds, not thousands. Okay, so you got to be patient with the alts too. Altcoin season will not come until probably 2025. But this is projecting that, hey, altcoin season is right around the corner. Well, who knows? This cycle is accelerated, and we have more things going on with DeFi, DePIN, AI, and even memes. We have so many narratives, really. So who knows? Maybe altcoin season does come sooner than later this time around. I mean, just look at this headline. Even someone very serious, okay, a very large fund manager, Van Eyck, they started a Memecoin Index to track meme coins. I think that shows you how different this cycle is versus previous cycles. When you have Wall Street giants tracking meme coins, that tells you that, hey, they even think that there's something going on here, okay? And memes are getting so explosive that they even have to track it. I mean, that we didn't have this even in 2021, and we certainly didn't have it in 2017. But now we have it in 2024, and 2025 we will have more of this coming up, right? So, all right, guys, stay strong, stay focused. Let's do some Q&A. What do I want to show here? All right. Good morning, everyone. Let's see. Someone said I messed up. I loaded $1,200 in Crowwood knife, and now I'm down 53%. Well, this is why I ignore very, very, very hyped up memes. When everyone starts shilling something in a chat, that's usually indication that it's a top and it's gonna go down, right? So you got to be careful with these. Let's see. Bought myself some more Jupiter last night. You know what? I added Jupiter in my DCA portfolio last night. Let's see. Enzo Blade agrees with my kids. He's like, George, your kids are right. Hand egg is not football. Football is soccer. Yeah, we'll agree to disagree there. Let's see. Will Litecoin be in play with the ETF? It could, but no one wants it. No one on the planet is asking for a Litecoin ETF, so no. Let's see. Yeah, Kevin Mike, man, I'm sorry. I have to remove you from the channel because you keep thinking that yeah, due to your comments, I have to remove you from the channel, man. Will Compound see 500 again or higher? I don't know, man. Not a whole lot of people talk about compound. I don't know anyone that ever said, yeah, I use compound to make yield. You know, compound and Aave, they kind of seem like they're important, but they kind of seem like dinosaurs. I don't really hear anyone talk about them or use them. Even the newer like dexes, they don't use them either for liquidity. Now it's all about like Stargate and Axelar and yeah. Is Elf any good? Super low microcap, but everyone loves it. I don't know about everyone, but yeah, I don't know too much about it. Keeps your dApp running smoothly thanks to a reliable Web3 cloud solution. I was asked about this the other day. It's kind of like a mini Flux or something like a Nosana, where it's like a DPIN, decentralized cloud storage play. I don't know if it's that promising, but yeah, they're what, 88 million? That's not bad. That's not bad for a new play. And they came out, man, they came out in 2021. Yeah, I don't know. Monica, appreciate that. Do you use Artemis for analysis? Shows Near as the most daily active users above all L1s. I've seen that before. I don't know if I believe that. Because I have a hard time believing that Near has that many active users. Simply because their DeFi and meme activity are much lower than others. So I don't know where all that volume, I guess, or what all the users are doing. Are you going to pass on Cybertruck then? I don't know. I don't know why everyone's so fascinated if I'm going to pass the Cybertruck. It's like so much like passion about it. I have this guy that keeps emailing me and telling me not to get a Cybertruck. I'm like, just cool, man. It's like there should be more concerns in your life than whether I get my Cybertruck. NMCT, no, it doesn't. Because none of them are going to support a meme. It's just people are just creating them and people are buying them thinking they're supporting them, but they're really not. Um, Plaza Miner, thoughts on self-custody KYC regulation in the US? It would be bad. It would be very bad. But I don't think they can enforce it. You know, like if you download like a wallet and the wallet asks you to do the KYC, no one's going to use it. So, and most of these wallet makers are not in the US. I just don't think they're going to enforce it. And I don't think that law is going to pass. The comments about Cybertruck are so bad. I'm wondering if people are just like think it's cool to jump on the Cybertruck, you know, hate group, or people really dislike it, or people are just jealous that other people have it. I can't tell because there are a lot of hate towards Cybertrucks. Zero Fortune drove a couple Cybertrucks at work, very overhyped. I mean, there's no doubt it's probably gonna drive like any other Tesla, but it's overhyped because it looks different. That's the only thing that makes it unique because it looks so different. Thought Weston Tao or Weston Toe. Thoughts on putting alt profits this bull run straight into Bitcoin and stables, or maybe wait until it makes. You know, everyone. I mean, the whole point of being an alts is to gain on Bitcoin, right? So alts we know move faster than Bitcoin. Short term, long term is probably just gonna be always be Bitcoin. But short term, we see a lot of alts do outperform Bitcoin, right? And one of the purposes for that is so you gain on Bitcoin, and yes, you could take out a profit and buy more Bitcoin with it. So that's one way to gain on Bitcoin without actually putting more into Bitcoin, if that makes sense. So yeah, it makes sense. Cybertruck's like a rolling trash can. Come on now. Will Soul hit 200 again? Monica, if you have to ask that, okay, you're too new in this space. Of course it's going to hit 200 again. If you really think it's not, then yeah, again, you're just too green and you need to be in the space a little bit longer. There's so much hate. There's so much hate toward the Cybertruck in this live chat. I don't know what's going on here. I have no idea what's going on. Domingo says, I hope Bitcoin goes down to 52, 42, or even 27. Weekly, they serve as demand levels. I don't care about the price. I just want to accumulate. If Bitcoin, which I know is not going to happen, but if it ever goes down to 27K again, I would literally sell everything I have and go all in on it. Like, but it's not going to happen. We're not going to see 27K. We're not going to see 30K. We're probably not even going to see 40K ever in our lifetime anymore. Those are levels that are just like you're just not going to see. It's like real estate. You know, once certain lot or a certain city or a certain farmland or whatever, you know, once it goes beyond a certain price level, it's never going to go back down anymore. You're not going to see cheap, you know, cheap apartments in downtown Manhattan, for example. It's just not going to happen. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. Once we break through some of these levels, we're just not going to see it again. People that took advantage of the crash in 2020 saw Bitcoin below 4,000. Are we ever going to see Bitcoin below 4,000 again? No, we're not. You know, so to your point, yes, I totally agree, but I don't think we're ever going to see some of these levels again. Jinx Zed says, if I had the cheddar, I would buy a Cybertruck. Why not? Yeah, I mean, again, why is there so much hate toward a Cybertruck? What? Okay, maybe if it didn't have a truck in the name. What if it just called Cybercar? You know, or Cybermobile? Would that make it better? Is it just because it has a truck in the name? It'll be the biggest Christmas gift in history. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen ever. Again, get a helicopter instead of Cybertruck. No, and I can't afford one. Um, You guys are the biggest haters on Cybertruck. I swear. I'm still leaning towards no. I don't think I'll get it simply because depreciation is so bad on Teslas, but still, I don't hate it that much. And I like to think I'm a Tesla hater. I'm always calling out Tesla for all its bad things, but you guys are just brutal. Trump is pro crypto. Did you see? Just because he's taking campaign donations in crypto doesn't actually mean he's pro crypto. It's like, I don't think there could ever be someone that's super pro crypto as a president because, first of all, they're all very old and we never have really any young people as presidents. And second of all, one of their jobs indirectly is, of course, to protect the USD, right? And to support the Fed and the Treasury and what they do. So, and Bitcoin is directly inverse of that. Basically, Bitcoin's narrative is that the dollars go weaken because governments don't know what to do and they do all the wrong things, and that's why we need Bitcoin, right? So if you think about it, there can't really be a president that's super bullish on Bitcoin. Not in the US, at least. In other countries, yes, maybe because their currencies have failed completely and they have no choice. But in the US, I don't think that's going to be a case. I mean they could be okay, like say it's okay. I like what it's doing, but like to be super bullish on it, I just don't see that. Because that's going away from the dollar. Big A, Chuck is still printing new all-time high every day. I'm really impressed with Chuck. I really think that it could be pretty big the way it's going. I mean, Trump did sell his NFTs, right? And his shoes, and they all sold out like crazy. Joe asked a good question. George, would you buy an NFTs while prices are low? For example, Bored Ape. I've thought about that a couple times recently, and I don't know. I would. I never believed in like Bored Apes or crypto punks before, right? Like all the hype. I just feel like it's just the same circle of people that are just buying them and driving prices upwards. Um, so I never really like believed in the hype. So I don't know. And you really don't hear anyone talk about them anymore. Maybe if they really get dirt cheap. I know it's like 30 ETH now for a Bored Ape, which is still not dirt cheap. That's still like $60,000. If it ever drops to like let's say 4 ETH or something like that, I would probably pick some up. If it ever got to that level, that would be a crazy drop though. I don't think anyone likes Gensler. For sure, I think Gensler's on his way out. There's no doubt. It doesn't matter who wins. Gensler's out. Like he knows his last stint. He has just done a very bad job. Favorite Satoshi conspiracy? I don't know if there's a favorite one. I don't even know about all the conspiracies. People say the CIA is Satoshi. I think that's nonsense. Um, yeah, I don't know of any others conspiracies. Tiger Meg says, I don't hate the Cybertruck. I'm just not impressed by it. Seems like it'll be a fad. Yeah, my wife hates it. She like forbid me from getting it. I don't know. A lot of people just really hate it. Holy guacamole. Stop that. Miles G Investments. When do you think there will be a We Are George ETF? Probably after I released my own coin, which will be never. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna come anytime soon. Once more Cybertrucks delivered, there'll be more common. Price will depreciate like every other Tesla. Yeah. See, you know, how I see the Tesla Cybertruck is like when the first iPhones came out. You know, everyone thought it was cool, right? Everyone wanted to get it because it was cool. And then after everyone got it, it's like, okay, I've seen enough iPhones. It's not that cool anymore. I think Cybertrucks will be the same way. Once you start seeing Cybertrucks like every single hour, you see someone driving one, it's going to lose its appeal. And that's when sales will tank and depreciation really kick in. Right now, you don't really see that because it's still so limited. But later on, when everyone has one, everyone has one in their neighborhood, that's when I think things really change. Kind of like seeing a new F-150. It's not a big deal anymore. Kringles, Trump with... Yeah, I'm going to skip that. And Ray, I'm going to skip that as well since you're just showing the same thing. Siri B, I thought there would be common. I think it will because the cheapest version of Cybertruck is about $60,000, which most full-size trucks are around $60,000 now. So I think you're going to see a lot of them once they really start mass producing them and selling them. Oh yeah, the Tom Brady roast on Netflix. I didn't watch the whole thing. I've been seeing clips, nonstop clips, of the, you know, of the monologues, and they're good. They're brilliant. But people roasted Gronk more than they did Brady. Gronk took such a beating, and I don't think he even realized it. Cybertruck reminds me when the H1 Hummer came out. Man, I still see some people driving them around. It's still an impressive looking vehicle. I mean, it's just so damn big and wide. And they just look good, imposing, no matter what. Yeah, people were getting on Kim K too. Um, But what does she care? She's a billionaire now, so she could laugh all the way to the bank. Yeah, I felt bad for Gronk. There was a couple times where, like, you know, the jokes weren't even aimed at him, but some they were, and some were at like Kevin Hart or others, and they zoom in on his face, and he's not laughing. Like he doesn't get the joke. Like literally, he didn't get like half the jokes, and it was just. It was just that made it more funny, you know. Michelle Rossini, George, don't you think one day the first Cybertruck will be a collector's item and actually increase in value? You know, I don't know. I don't know. That's the whole point of the Foundation Edition. It's kind of like it's a limited amount. I think there's only 1,000 that's being produced. You know, one would hope that just like any other car, one day it'll go up in value because it's the first of its kind. Maybe, but it's too plentiful, I think. Tesla is going to mass produce the hell out of these Cybertrucks. And because of that, I mean, if Tesla said, okay, we're only producing 10,000 a year, you know, or maybe 5,000 a year, I think then there's a good chance it could go up in value, but like they're going to produce as much as they can sell. This is a super chat test. Well, it seems like you can send super chats. Who's going to buy one as a collectible when batteries go cost like 30K to replace? I don't know about that. I don't think it costs like 30. Well, maybe on a Cybertruck, yeah. Batteries just don't seem to be getting any cheaper. Just drove right by a Cybertruck just now. All right, since so many people love to talk about a Cybertruck. Do you like the Tesla?
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.
Oops, how do I get rid of this? Man, this is screwed up. I got to start over here. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I don't know why that just started playing. All right, last poll before I leave. I would get original Tesla Roadsters. They're going for like 200K now. James, you know what? That was the one thing I actually regret. My best friend, which I've told you guys about, he's like the biggest Tesla nut. And he told me years ago, yeah, to get the Tesla Roadster because it's going to be a collectible car someday. And back then it was still like, you know, it was like no one wanted it because it sucked. But now people are really starting to buy it and treat it as a collectible car. It's hard to find. Crypto's future. Great. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. What do you think about Rose? Rose is a promising L1. Relatively small, but promising. I like Rose. Man, Toncoin today is still up. I don't know what's up with Toncoin. It seems to be highly manipulated. Okay, good. Based on the poll, it's not like 100% no. 42% yes, 58%, 43% yes, 57% no. So it's almost like 50-50, but there's more haters than people that like it. Cybertruck qualifies for a 6,000 pound tax credit for business and EV tax credit. Yes, that's the only good thing about buying Teslas. The depreciation is god awful bad, but at least you can treat it as a tax deduction. So that's the reason why I bought my Model X, and Cybertruck also qualifies if you could justify it for business use. Today, the market's actually not doing that bad. Nasdaq is coming up, Dow, okay, and that's actually due to bad economic data. Jobless claims going upwards doesn't make a lot of sense. George, can you keep streaming after the bull run at least once a day, please? I can't make that promise. It depends on how crazy the bull run is. All right, I guess on that note, the poll ended with 40% yes and 60% no. That's about right. All right, guys. So to conclude, yeah, there's a lot of FUD out there. There are a lot of concerning articles out there, but they only give you a very narrow picture of what's going on. They're telling you about April, and we know April was bad. But remember, 7 consecutive green months prior to April. So it makes sense that we slow down a little bit, okay? But do not become discouraged. Do not get feared out of the market. Stay strong, stay focused, and I'll see you guys tonight, same time as usual, 8:30 a.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.